The 38th annual WoollyWorm Festival here in beautiful Banner North Carolina is this weekend, October 17th and October 18th. I tell you, it's going to be a great one. Thousands of woollyworms from all over the world coming here to race in the biggest woollyworm race of them all. It's great to see you, Roy Craigie, the Master of Ceremonies, Mr. WoollyWorm himself. And
great to be here,
thanks
Terry.
so much for being here. We're right here on the stage. And tell us, if you would, how the WoollyWorm Festival got started 38 years ago. You've been Master of Ceremonies and Mr. William for 37 years.
37 years. The owner's son of Grandfather Mountain, he and some friends were out in the woods, Jim Morton, and a guy named Will Lafferty. And they saw a woollyworm and he was crawling on a twig. Well, next thing you know, why one of them had a string, I don't know, but put one on a string and next thing you know, he starts crawling up. And from that, Jim's one of these naturalist guys, and he comes up with the idea, I wonder if we could have races. So lo and behold, we started a race, or they did, and I got involved from the very beginning. Matter of fact, my wife and I served funnel cakes, which weren't even introduced to this area. Yeah. We had come from up in Pennsylvania where we had our summer camp. So we made funnel cakes and did other things. The first week, the first race 38 years ago, they had less than 50 people. They had fixed up 5 little race lanes, but it was a start. Yeah. And now today we have over 20,000 people come for the 2-day event. We can't race enough worms on Saturday. It's a little bit slower on Sunday where you actually get a chance to breed, but it's just an exciting event. It entertains a lot of people, raises a lot of good money for charity. All of our money goes to charity. So the combination is fabulous. Yeah, it's a tremendous opportunity here, a tremendous day here for Banner Elk, for Avery County. The whole weekend is great. Tell us what a woollyworm has to do then in the race. So we're looking back here behind us. There's 25 racing strings, and tell us about that. Well, you have to put your worm on the string. That's the first difficulty. Yeah. Because sometimes they can be moving just as fast and crazy as they can go, but once you touch that worm, just like I've got one crawling up here, often when you touch him, there he did it. He just balled up. That's their natural self-defense mechanism. You know, if you were to swing at me quick, I would try to get out of the way, and I'd run. Well, these guys ball up. Now he got a little warmer in my hand, and he's loosened back up. So you have to get him on the string below the starting line, and that's difficult. Yeah. And you have to hope that you've got him going up instead of coming down. Because you're not sure. Now, it's kind of hard to tell sometimes because most of them have a little black on the butt and at the head. So you got to get them going the right way. And the neat thing about a woollyworm, they might take off like crazy, and then they get up so far and they start this. And they look down and say, where's the rest of you? And hopefully they'll straighten back up and go on up that string. Yeah. But sometimes they don't. One of the biggest losses we ever had here, a man was that far, I don't think more than 2 or 3 inches from winning $1,000. Yeah. Now you old ball players might know how this happens sometimes. The other worm was just slowly moving along. He was quite a bit behind. That worm got up there and he started this silliness and turned around. And I mean to tell you, Terry, we barely saved that worm. Because this was an adult man, probably about your age. He started hollering and screaming and crying. But $1,000 for racing a worm is quite a prize. Oh, yeah. But that was the most drastic loss we've ever had. Yeah. We've had some of our viewers contact us, and they wanted to ask, all right, if you're looking around for a woollyworm that you think would be a good racer, what qualities would you look for? Oh, that's a good question. Number one, they've been hard to find around here lately because we had, what, 5 days of non-stop rain. Yeah. So these guys are pretty smart. They balled up and hid. But now that the sun's back out, they're starting to cross the roads, and that's where we find most of our worms. Yeah. And I put my brakes on right in the middle of traffic, and I'm sure I've been called a few things. But I jump out, and usually if I have my outfit on, somebody will say, oh, that's that crazy guy. But the best thing to do is feed them some greens, almost any kind of green, really, and keep them active once you're ready to race. What a lot of the kids do is make a mistake, just like this little cage here. They don't open it up until they get up here, and then they open it up and try to get that worm moving. Well, he hasn't moved, and he's still scared. Yeah. So I've watched a lot of people, and they, on top of a cup, they get him going around and around and around the top of that cup and keep him active. And then hopefully from there, right onto the string.
Yeah.
Doesn't always work, but that's what I think is the best thing. So have your worm active before it actually has to race. So once you come up the stairs or get ready, you're in the next race, you ought to have that worm warming up. You guys in athletics, they made you warm up, didn't they?
Yeah.
And they got you conditioned so you didn't get sore and cramped up and all of that. I think it's the same with these athletes.
And they got a lot of legs that warm up too, don't
they? Certainly do, yeah. If you ever seen underneath here, kind of neat. They got a couple front legs, some, and then 4 sets of back legs. So once they get to crawling, they can really move up that string.
So how long could a viewer keep a worm safe? You know, like if you said feed them greens?
Yes, and a little dampness.
Yeah.
I water those things down there twice a day. Just sprinkle a little water over them, and I give them new greens twice a day.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good formula, but I really don't know because they don't answer me and tell me. But we keep worms after this Woolly Worm Festival here in Banner Out. We're going to go to Florida about, I don't know, November 6th or something. And I take a whole thing of worms down there because I go down to our daughter's high school and then another drama teacher's high school, and we race worms, and then we go to 2 elementary schools and race worms to tell them about this great festival in Banner Out, North Carolina. So I've been told that everything from about 6 to 8 weeks is how long they stay in this larva stage. And then they ball up like that, just like he did a minute ago. They ball up and go into a hibernation. And that's just down in the grass and in the weeds wherever they end up. And no matter how cold it is, they absolutely do not freeze. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And then whatever God has made them do, they come out, transform their bodies, and they come out as a moth. And it's no bigger than my thumbnail. It's a Isabella tiger moth. And these brown and black worms make a green moth. And that green moth has little spots on it. Yeah. And it's totally harmless, they say, so you don't have to protect your jacket. By the way, I noticed a minute ago you were real protective. We had a worm on Terry's jacket. And, get that worm off. He's going to mess up my jacket. So, you know, the Woolly Worm people aren't quite as high class as you television station owners, and now he's a college professor too, so you know, you all have to keep the image up a little better. Have
you noticed a difference? You've been doing this 37 years. Have the worms changed over the time? Have they gotten bigger and stronger or anything?
No, I don't think they have. It's been fun studying them. I really have tried. I never was too bright as an administrator, as a college person. That's why I became a college administrator. And you know, you teachers always think the administrator are kind of like that. But it has been fun to read more about them and learn more about them. And I don't think really they've changed any. But we do know that we're at the perfect time to get the worms in Banner Out, because there's only a couple weeks that you can see them out crawling around. And it seems like, and it's not quite true, but it seems that way, the day after the festival, you can't find a worm anywhere. Yeah. So whether they've heard about what's going on and they're afraid they're going to have to get up here. But now if I were a worm, and I've been called worse, but I think they would love to have their chance to compete and be a star.
Oh yeah.
So that's what we've...
And tell us, there's a lot of money on the line here, so tell us how people can win the money.
Well, an adult pays $5 to get in the festival. A kid, I think up to 12, pays $3, and if they're 5 and under, it's free. So it doesn't cost much at all, but to race a worm, no matter what age you are, 3 or 93, it'll cost you $5. Yeah. And one of the things you have to do is come up with a neat name for your woolly worm. Everything from Worminator to whatever you want to call them. And so that's what you do. You're assigned a lane. They make you the name tag so we can pin it up there, and you're ready to race. Yeah. And then you just hope and pray and carry on. The neat thing is, once the worm is on the string, you may not touch the worm. You may not touch the string, and you may not touch the race board. So there's hollering, screaming, clapping, and the latest thing is straws. They put a couple of straws together, and I was told today by Mary Jo, our chairman, that they bought over 1,000 straws to share with people. But they put those straws and get under and hopefully blow that guy right up there. But what some of them do is they blow down on him, and guess what? He's not going anywhere because he grabs onto that string because it starts shaking.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful with how much air you put on them.
So how many races does someone have to win in order to win the $1,000?
Well, we're going to race as many worms as we can on Saturday. That's when the day that we actually judge the weather. We race 25 at a time. We have 8 races, then we run a semi-final. The winners from those 8 races, and the winner of that goes into the final race. And what was that question?
Like how do they, to win the...
To win the race, gotcha. So, oh my dear. You have to win 3 races. You win your first heat.
Yeah.
You come back for the semi-final race. If you win that, then you come back for the final. Now in the first race, you win $25 and a beautiful blue ribbon with a badge on it. And if you win your second race, your semi-race, you win $100 cash. And then you come back for the final race, and that's $1,000 prize. Now your TV man out here, he told me that that's the kind of money he makes every day. But don't know if that was true or not. But
that's a lot of money. So $1,000 on Saturday, $500 on Sunday,
yes,
if you
sir.
win the race on Sunday.
That's right.
And boy, that is absolutely tremendous.
Right.
So then, what happens to the worms then after the race is over? Like, you know, whether
we have a collection box that we try to collect the worms. And actually, I take a few of them, like I said, to Florida. But most of them we just put in a good, safe surroundings, somewhere where they don't get run over, unless they get silly and want to cross that road again.
Yeah.
That we protect them that way.
Yeah.
So it's kind of neat. Some kids, of course, don't want to give up their worms, and if they lose one, you get tears from some of them. But it's neat. It's not just little kids racing.
Yeah.
There's guys like you who are competitive. I mean, and you get as gung-ho and carried away and hollering and screaming at that worm as any little kid. And then you get the sweet little old lady or little old man, they walk up here in a cane and can barely move, and man, they start going crazy. So that's what's so neat about this race, that anybody, and I mean absolutely anybody, it's been the neatest thing to see a child come up here in a wheelchair, where we actually carried the child up in a wheelchair and race a worm.
Yeah. Because
it was so exciting. What other competition could that person be in?
Yeah.
So it's so neat. It's open to everybody.
That's tremendous. Now tell us about everything else. So well, first of all, I want to ask you, the viewers wanted to know if they don't have a worm, if they can't find a worm crossing the road or around, are there going to be worms available here?
Yes, sir. What we have, and it's instigated going on right now, we have a WoollyWorm bounty. And we guarantee that we will buy 1,500 worms, and we pay $1 a worm. Now what we've had to do, because we had so many turned in, is each individual was only allowed to turn in 25 worms at a time. Now, to be honest with you, the way some of them get away with it, you're the hubby, that's the wife, there's the kid, 25, 25, 25, and they've made their family $75. But you know, if that's the way you play the game, it works for us. Then we give those worms, the WoollyWorm Committee gives those worms to the Banner Elk PTO. And the PTO then turns around and sells them for $1. So you pay $5 to get in, $1 to buy a worm, $5 to race.
Yeah.
And you got a chance to win over $1,100 on Saturday.
Golly.
And over $500 on Sunday.
That's tremendous. And not just for racing, the WoollyWorm Festival 38th Annual, October 17th and 18th, 172 vendors are going to be out here on this field we're on right here. There'll be food, there'll be entertainment, there'll be all sorts of things going on.
Yeah, there's 25 or 30 food booths. It's like an international food festival. Now what I'm disappointed at, when we used to have less people here, this vendor and that vendor and the next one would send something up so we would advertise, man, this corn is great, it's down in booth 3. Now we're so busy and they're so busy, they don't even get us a drink anymore. So we're in protest about that, but it really is great food. Everything from French food to Louisiana Purchase food, not Louisiana Purchase, but Louisiana Cajun food, to the good old All-American Boy Scout hot dog and hamburger, funnel cakes, you name it. Everything you could ever get at a fair, you've got right here. And you know, I don't eat corn dogs normally, but there's nothing I love better at a fair than a corn dog. My wife said, "Where are you going?" "I'm going to get a corn dog." Or a funnel cake. You know, it's just one of those things that kind of gets your system going. Yep. So you've got all of those food booths, and they'll all be over there by the old Banner Oak School that we're renovating now for all kind of great activities for the community and some businesses. And then you've got all the other foods. You've got a music here all day long. And just one, Dave Calvert from Carolina Barbecue is one who lines up all the music. And you name all the great country groups and other type of music. Amy Kirk's going to be here, and some Amy Kirk Fortune, actually. Yeah. She's going to be here singing. She's a lot like Patsy Cline, that type of thing. So you got all-day music. You got all kind of activities in the back over there for children that they can do. So it's just tremendous. Sir? Oh, Elvis is going to be here. That's right, and he's great. You know, he's chairman of the school board. Yeah, John Green. Yeah, for Elvis to be chairman of the school board kind of make you wonder. But anyway, he does a great job at that. And fantastic vendors, 172 of them with everything you can imagine. Yeah. You know, for somebody to come in and see things that are really handmade and made here in these mountains, and some beautiful stuff, isn't it? Right, and it is a juried show. Now, sometime we quote jury it and end up what gets here isn't quite the same as what we thought was going to come, but they'll never be invited back if they break that. But when you have 170 booths of all kind of different products, I mean, right now you got Halloween coming up, then you got Thanksgiving, then you got Christmas, then you got New Year's. We all have birthdays. We all have, not all of us, but a lot of us have wedding anniversaries and other special occasions. So you can buy something for every season. One of the neat things that's sold right here, and of course Avery County is the Christmas tree capital of the world, with those beautiful Fraser fir trees. Right over here there'll be some people selling those. So you say, I want a 7-foot tree. I would like it to be delivered to St. Pete, Florida at this address on December 2nd. Guess what they do? They box that tree up, ship it off December 2nd. You get it at your house. You open it up, and it's already on a stand. You put those feet on that stand, you shake it out, there's your Christmas tree. A mountain Christmas tree can be shipped anywhere in the world from right here at the world-famous WoollyWorm Festival. So tell us the hours then on Saturday and Sunday. On Saturday, we're open 9 to 5, and on Sunday, 9 to 4. Yeah. So we'll actually, depending on the weather and all other circumstances, we might even open the gate a little bit earlier than that. But 9 o'clock is the starting time. Yeah. And we've got a brand new ticket sales office trailer that Dan Brubaker and friends made that should make the lines move a lot faster as they come into the festival. Another neat thing we have, Terry, is we have probably 12 or 13, something like that, different nonprofit vendors that are going to be here. Might even be more than that. But a lot of other organizations have an opportunity to make money here at the world-famous WoollyWorm Festival. Yeah. And we don't charge them for those. So it's nonprofit, nonprofit, nonprofit. So it just covers the whole county and actually goes out of the county, but so much of our monies go to Avery County's needs. That's tremendous. Thanks so much, Roy. It's always great to see you. Great to be here. We hope everybody will come this Saturday and Sunday, October 17th and 18th, right here. We guarantee it's going to be high and dry. Great weather. We're going to start off cool. It'll warm up nice in the daytime, get cool just like it's getting on us right now. Yeah, so October 17th and 18th is coming weekend. It's going to be tremendous. 9 to 5 on Saturday, 9 to 4 on Sunday. You can win up to $1,000 on Saturday, $500 on Sunday, racing your woolly worms. Even if you don't have a woolly worm to bring with you, there'll be worms here that you can buy just for $1, and it'll be a fantastic time for everyone, really all ages. And but you guys do so much, and Roy, you really do so much for this community, and we really thank you for all that. Thank you for all you do for Banner Elk and Avery County and these mountains and everyone associated with us. Appreciate that, and of course you and your station has done just tremendous for several of the counties around here, so we really appreciate that. But thanks, Roy. Thanks so much for being here with us. Always great to see you.